Greetings. I'd like to welcome you all here to this beautiful new facility, and you're the reason we're gathered here together. We're going to celebrate this exciting new addition to our community. This beautiful new Mathews facility, Y facility, is a result of your generosity. All of you should be proud to have contributed over the past 10 years to make this happen. On behalf of the Mathews Y, its board of directors, and the Capital Campaign Committee, we thank you. It's important that we recognize several of those that are here today. From the Metro Y, we have Danny Carroll, the retired CEO. And we have Adam Klutz, the current CEO. And in addition, we have numerous staff members from the Metro Y here as well. We have Tom Tingle, who is the Vice President of the Metro Y Board of Directors. And I'd like to point out Sheila Pallath, who is our local Mathews YMCA Director. Representing Centera, we have Dennis Zirkus, who is the Vice President of Medical Affairs for Centera. And Colin Wilson, who is the VP of Rehab. You'll notice the people in the pink or rose-colored shirts, and they are your new local rehab, Centera Rehab staff. Certainly, we need to acknowledge the presence of Linwood Burton from Bush Construction Company. He and Mark Rinaldi are the ones that really sort of brought this statistical facility together. I believe that we have Andy John here. He said he was coming, Chief Regional Coordinator for Virginia Department of Emergency Management. And he worked in conjunction with our local representative, Willie Love, to bring this building up to snuff to serve as a shelter in case of bad weather. Which we tend to have quite a bit of. Is Brian Jenkins here? He's indicated he was coming representing the Community Foundation, but we also have several representatives from the Mathews Community Foundation, Joan Keith, Reed Lawson, and Paul Vandenbout, who were instrumental in helping out this project. And we'd also like to acknowledge the hosts of various campaign committee fundraising venues, such as Paige and Pete Ashby, Bill and Cindy Barnett, Jen and Celia Seats, and as part of that, we'll call Mathews North contingent, Betty and Matt Jenkins, along with Bruce and Sarah Kahn. We have one individual certainly deserving of recognition who isn't here today, Dick Phillips, who served as the Capital Campaign Chair and passed on Monday. With Dick's vision and leadership were critical to the success of this project. I'd now like to introduce Dick's wingman and committee co-chair, Buzz Busby, who will share some background on the creation of this new facility. Mr. Busby.
Do I look as stupid as I feel? Well, here we are. This is the culmination, literally 20 years worth of effort. This all started back in 1998, when Jim Sees was standing right here, and Art Miller used to work out together to Richland. Why? They got to talking and said, you know, we need a YMCA in Mathews. And Jim, being not shy, called Danny Carroll and said, hey, Danny, we need a Y in Mathews. And Danny said something like, no, you don't. Anyway, one thing led to another, and 3 years later, in February of 2002, the Mathews Family YMCA opened its doors. And for those of us that lived here, that was a great event, because we've been going down the riverside, and it was a half a day to go work out. And all of a sudden, here we were, we had a facility. Admittedly, it was just a storefront, had some borrowed equipment in it, old stuff, but it was the beginning. And from that very first day, there were some of us that began plotting and planning that we would build a Y one day. The problem we had initially was we didn't know where to put it. And we looked at Best Value, we thought it was going to close. We looked at a Lotto here behind the sheriff's office, knee deep in water half the time. We looked at the abandoned church up in College Creek. And all of a sudden one day, up stepped Josie Thorpe. Who's here? Where's Josie? She's here. Anyway, she had bought donks and said, I'll give you some land. And we were ecstatic. We had a site. And if I'll never forget the first day I walked around that site, and I just thought, oh my Lord, what are we going to do? It had a 20-foot wide, 10-foot deep VDOT ditch running right down through the middle of it. A third of it was pine trees and bramble bushes, and it was just, I remember thinking, what in the world are we going to do? Well, what happened was, up stepped John Diggs and said, you know, I'll take care of it for you. I ain't got anything to do right now, my crews are not working. And we got with Chuck Dawson, we got with some local people, and all of a sudden I drove down the road one day, and every piece of heavy equipment you could imagine in your life down there, cut down trees, thrown around like matchsticks. And inside of a month and a half, we had a soccer field. Not just a soccer field, probably the best soccer field in 3 counties. Bob Wolford, Dick Phillips, and I put together the electrician, the plumbing, the irrigation, and all that. And it was a wonderful event, but the best part about it was, people started taking notice. They'd drive by and say, what's going on over there? What are those people doing? And we snuck out there, Danny never knew it. We snuck out there, we weren't supposed to, we put a little sign that said, future home with Mathews Family YMCA. And he was telling us, oh no, you can't do that. So anyway, we got the momentum going. About that time, Judy Castleman, who had dragged me all over Eastern Virginia looking at YMCA's, had to go to Richmond, she left. We had to come up with a new campaign chairman. And we knew that we could do it. And we all knew who the campaign chairman ought to be. I knew, Sheila knew, we all knew. The only person that didn't know was Dick. So Sheila got him in his office and talked to him, I talked to him. And it led to one of the really interesting events in this whole saga. He said, I'll do this, but failure is not an option. So we got people together in a church, about 10 or 15 people, and said, Dick explained it, he said, would you agree to help us? Every hand went up. Would you agree to contribute money? Would you pledge money? Every hand went up, about 15 people. We said, okay, how much would you contribute? So Judy Castleman passed out a bunch of little slips, and everybody wrote it down, we collected them in an envelope. Everybody said goodbye, and we counted, we had $180,000. Wow. Excuse me. $180,000. And that was it. That started the Capital campaign, and what a ride. I could tell you hundreds of stories of funny things that happened, but we'll do that over here someday. But we looked at everything. We had mountains of blueprints. We took the design. And the Bush Company, who had built the soccer field, was with us every step of the way. Every step of the way. They gave us advice. They told us how to do things. They worked with Bill Leary, who was our guy. And Dick used to say to me, I can't ask my friends for money. I can't either. But it turned out to be the easiest thing in the world, because we all gave. Anyway, to make a long story short, we raised $2.3 million. 80% of that money came from Mathews. The rest of it was grants, things like that. But about 80% of the money came right from right here. And for that, we thank you.
Can you guys hear me okay? I'm gonna put it down this way, sorry. What is so unique about this YMCA is this is a true community YMCA. And when I look around the room, I see people of all walks of life, all abilities, who have contributed. We have had gifts from $10 up to $300,000. That's pretty impressive, and that demonstrates the buy-in in this community. We have had members, people who use the facility day in and day out, contribute to the YMCA. We have people who have never set foot in a YMCA who have contributed because they see the importance of the YMCA in the community. We have folks who have their permanent home somewhere other than Mathews, and they also invested in this project. So I think that a lot of people really saw the importance of what we could achieve and wanted to be a part of it. The other part that I think is unique is our public-private partnership with the county. Judy Castleman found a model from Bonita Springs, Florida, and said, this is something that I think our YMCA should do. We should be in an emergency shelter. And Dick and I attended many Board of Supervisors meetings, and finally we were able to get a consent and a vote to support that venture. And pretty recently even got an additional set of monies for the permanent generator. And I think that the Board of Supervisors being so forward-thinking to be able to support something like this demonstrates their buy-in as well. And so we are a very fortunate community, a fortunate YMCA to have all of these people supporting us. When I say all of these people, I'm speaking everybody here. And we can't thank you enough for everything that you have done and the investment that you've made. And I think it's really important to also keep in mind that this is it is a beautiful building. I've heard that many times tonight. But it is more than bricks and mortar. It's about the people. And at no time did anybody ever lose sight of that when we were going through this whole process. Is this YMCA is about the people here in Mathews County, and we're going to be able to serve people of all ages. And we thank you very much for being part of bringing this to fruition. And I'm going to turn it back over to Gordon. He has a few more thank yous. We have a lot of thank yous tonight, so please bear with us.
Thank you, Sheila. Dick Phillips had requested that we share his appreciation to the campaign committee, community leaders, and others who contributed to our success. And I'm going to read from some notes that Dick prepared that he wanted to share with you. These are his words. He says, first, I want to thank you all, the donors, for making this day happen. When Judy Castleman announced she was moving to Richmond a few years ago, and that I would now have to become chairman of our fundraising effort, I was less than happy. This experience, however, turned out to be a blessing. We had the opportunity to witness firsthand the kindness and generosity of our Mathews friends and neighbors. It was a team effort. I can't emphasize enough that it was the Capital Campaign Committee that made it happen. Team members, would you please raise your hand, members of the Capital Campaign? We benefited by their collective wisdom and hard work as we progressed through the fundraising mode. Moreover, this team personally contributed and pledged close to $500,000 of the $2+ that we raised. This made it very easy to ask you, the donors, to help us since we were so committed to ourselves. We had skin in the game. One member, I'll call him more than a partner or a co-chair, was Mr. Buzz Busby. He provided the senior leadership, smooth oratory, which we've heard this evening, and continual encouragement to keep things moving in the right direction. Buzz, I thank you for your ongoing support and particularly your friendship. Special thanks to our Mathews Board of Supervisors who boldly supported the joint use concept for the new Y as a temporary shelter in terms of emergencies. This win-win agreement was further supported by our local representatives, Senator Linwood Lewis, Delegate Keith Hodges, and finally financial support was provided by Dr. Jeff Stern, Virginia Department of Emergency Management, Secretary of Public Safety Brian Moran, and our local emergency manager Willie Love, as well as the County Administrator Mindy Connor. We're very proud of the fact that our new Y will serve the county as a potential shelter and will serve and would recommend to VDM and elected officials that this serve as a model program for small rural communities in Virginia. This project is clearly taken a few years longer than we originally anticipated, primarily due to delays in raising the necessary funds. Despite the numerous iterations of plans, delays, and decision-making, Bush Company, in honoring their commitment to John and Linda Diggs, has stayed with us for almost 10 years. A special thanks go to Linwood Burton, Mary Diggs, and the Bush team. Finally, special thanks to Centera Rehab for sticking with us as well. Again, we can jointly serve more people in the county with our long-term partnership than either organization could do totally on its own. I think additionally, we would like to just acknowledge the fact that Judy Busby, who designed the graphics out in the hallway and helped provide this party with her team of Reed Lawson, Paige Ashby, and Joan Key, deserves special mention as well. And now Buzz will now extend appreciation to another core group who has steered this vessel safely into port. You don't need my glasses.
This is really embarrassing. I just wanted to mention there's a blackout on the wall that has several names on it called Special Recognition. And I'll tell you a little bit about it. One, Judy Castleton. Then the word bulldog was invented for Judy. She was without a doubt the most aggressive, positive thinking person I've ever met. She was just always on it. And I credit Judy for two of the grand ideas of this campaign. One was engaging Centera. That was her idea. And the concept was that we would have a rehab facility co-located with the Y. And hopefully one day Centera will put a doctor's office here. That was always a dream. The other was what Sheila mentioned, which was engaging the county and making this a community project. And in doing so, create an emergency shelter, which we didn't have. And Wanda Casey used to talk about it all the time. And we developed that concept to the point where we were able to do it, and the county bought into it and granted us $300,000 to provide for emergency shelter in perpetuity for this county. And Judy was responsible for that. Second person is Bill Leary. We haven't mentioned Bill. Bill was the quiet man who waded through mountains of blueprints. You can imagine the iterations we went through on everything from site placement to where the electricity is, all this. He was Linwood Burton's partner in much of this stuff. And he was always there providing us with information, always there with guidance, telling us where we were going wrong. He deserves special thanks. Third person is Jan. Jan Phillips was right here all the time, behind the scenes. She was the interface with Metro Y for all the money, all the things that we were doing with them. Years, she was chairman of the guide board. She spent years working on this. And the other person that I want to talk about is Jim Cease. Without Jim, I can tell you,
People talk about it.
I know. I can say unequivocally, without Jim Cease, there would not be a YMCA in Mathews. It was his idea. He and North talked about it, and he stuck with it for years and years and years. He gave Danny Carroll fits. Of course, Danny Carroll used to give us fits at the same time. But he was responsible for much of what you see here in Wadley Ethic. The other person, I'll let him talk about.
You might just say that.
I was asked if I would come tonight and say something about Dick Phillips. Everybody beat me to it. They've said everything about Dick. You've noticed the sign out here that talks about his qualities and all his good characteristics. That would be approved by everybody but Dick. He was the first one that came up to me and said, excuse me, Jim, you're the guy that did all this. And I just didn't want to go to the wellness center anymore. He said, you started all this. And I'm going like, wow, nobody ever told me that before, but I guess it is. And that's pretty cool. Dick always pointed out the good in everybody else. He never said, I did this or I did that. And I can assure you, he would not approve of that message. But a few of my notes on the Y. I was on the downtown board of the Richmond Y in 1980. And I swam with this old guy for about 3 years. And we'd say hi and we'd do laps together. And I found out only after he left that he was one of the Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court. And I realized then that there's no better melting pot for a community than a YMCA. There's no black, there's no white, there's no rich, there's no poor. You just come in and you enjoy each other's company. And that, look, I talked to 12 people or one guy with a black robe on, okay? I don't handle big crowds, so bear with me. But what you're gonna find with this Y is that there's no, we're all people here. There's no black, white, there's no rich, poor. You will really get to know your neighbors. You will get to know people. You won't know what they do for a living and you won't care. When I was on the board in Richmond, I remember meeting so many old guys in their 80s that weren't much older than me at the time, but saying, you know, I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for this place. And they had a place to go. They would give us $100 every fall, and we'd go out and take kids out and buy all their school supplies. If you can't afford to join a Y, they sponsor you. Nobody's turned away. This is an incredible organization, and Mathews is very lucky to have it. We're 2 years behind on our pool now because of Dick. So somebody else is going to have to step up and help us get the money to get that pool in here. And you know, the smallest county on the Chesapeake Bay with the most shoreline of any county on the Chesapeake Bay, and we don't have a pool to teach our kids how to swim. Well, now we've got the place to put it, and Dick would say, let's get on with it. So welcome to your YMCA, and I'll take any credit you'll give me. But look, I just had an idea. It was everybody else. Anyway, welcome.
Well, I think it's appropriate that, hello? It's appropriate that Jim had, as the guy who got this whole thing started, and Dick was the guy who closed it down. And you should all be proud of your contributions to this effort. Thank you for coming.
Hey, can I say one other thing? When you join the Y, you can use any Y. When you join the Y, you can use any Y. When you get your friends to join this Y, they can use any other Y. When you get your friends to join this Y, we make money to expand our program. I can't tell you how many friends I have in Richmond that belong to the Mathews County YMCA. That's a hint.